It is wonderful, and I hope that you'll all tell your friends and do this again and again, because no matter if you think you've already learned everything there is to learn, there's always something else that comes up or that inspires you to be a better musician or a better choral director or a better singer or chanter or whatever it is you do. And so I encourage you to always come back again, and no matter how old you are, it doesn't matter. That's my opinion. So what I'm giving to you today is some tips, things that you may already know, but you may be struggling with, or things that you've tried and just can't get them to work quite well in your choir. We all have the handout that you have on the tables here. Those are for you, and you can put them anywhere you like in your folder. We've all been there. You've got a choir that maybe you've been with for many years. Maybe like me, you grew up in the choir. I started singing in the choir when I was 10 years old, right? My mom and I arrived from Canada. We walked through the door. We had a little mission that was being held in the back of the chapel of a mortuary. And kid you not. And we walked through the door, and Mrs. Cataley, the 90-year-old little lady who was always stood at the back door and greeted everybody, walked up to us and went, "You're new, do you sing?" And that was it. We were in the choir. And luckily we did sing. But from that point on, we sang in the choir. By the time I turned 18, and I had been singing in my school choirs and so forth, the Khuri that was directing the choir since the time I was 10 looked at me and said, "It's time." And I became the choir director that fast, that easy, one day. It just happened. Yeah. She always stood there with me, for a long time, until I learned how to give pitches and learned how to wave my arms a bit, until I finally decided that maybe it was time to go to school and actually really learn how to do some of that stuff. Hence, became a music major and did a couple of degrees in that vicinity. So this is now my livelihood. Thank God she drug me into the choir when I was able to sing. We always have the problem of, where do you put your choir to make the best sound that you can make? And you get oh, but I can't stand anywhere except beside Aunt Eva. I always stand here. This is my stand. This is my book. And nothing can change. Well, you need to get around that somehow. And you can blame it all on me. You can say that, you can say that, I went to a class and Marina said that it was okay for you to move. Okay? And because it's not all about one person, right? The old saying, it's not all about you. Well, that's true. It's for the good of the order. It's for the good of the choir. It's for the good of the congregation. And we, as the leaders of the prayer for the congregation, need to sing to the best of our ability. So all of this is for good reason. Here are some things that you need to identify. On the first page, I'll let you read all my silliness later. These are both good things, right? You can have a fabulous soloistic soprano in your choir. But if you have a solo soprano, they can really kill off the sound of the choir, because you have to be able to teach them to blend and teach them to sing with the others. You have to maybe get the other not so soloistic people to step it up a bit so that you can have a beautiful blend of the two, because you don't want to completely diminish your fine singer either. So you have to find that terrific blend. So you could have great things going on with a solo voice or a choral voice. The identifiers, if you will, for maybe a not so beautiful voice or a poor voice, as I wrote here, is people with wide vibratos. Ooh, ooh, you could drive a Mack truck right through it, right? Too nasal, bad, hard to control that. Too bright, where they're always singing really loud, everything is wide, and you can, you can see their teeth like crazy. If they're particularly loud, if they just stick out all the time, whether they're beautiful or not, if they stick out, that's not a great choral sound. And the worst one to have to deal with, of course, is a weak ear. If they just have a hard time being able to sing in pitch, that's tough. And it's tough. And I don't know about you guys, but the people who have the weak ears are the ones who want to be in the choir more than anybody in the world. They want to sing. They really want to sing. And you got to find a way to round it, You got to find a way either to work with them or to suggest that they find another calling in the church without driving them out of the church. It's really tricky. It's really tricky. And I have to say, when you're, especially when I was younger, you can do dumb things pretty fast, and suggest things, and then you don't see them for a year, and then you have to do a lot of, making things better for a long time. On the second page, the positioning of the choir, and we're going to assume that we're talking soprano, alto, tenor, bass, okay, for the sake of conversation. Now, maybe you are in a choir that only has 3 sopranos and a tenor. And then you have to just do the best you can. But we're gonna assume that we're going to try to do the best blend that we can come up with. Now, I just took, the reason I was late is I was down working with the teens, right? And it was my time to rehearse with them and teach them a brand new song that we're gonna sing tomorrow night. We had to stop. We just had to stop everything because we had to create a good blend. We had to position the kids. So we went through this whole process. I really wish I could have just brought them up here and we did it all at the same time because it would have been so perfect. But in an instant, in 5 minutes, we were able to put the section together and to make this glorious, perfect sound that no longer sounded like 7 tenors or 7 altos or whatever it was. It sounded like one voice. And that's what you're trying to strive for. You're trying to get everything to sound as one. And this is a little bit of a small group, but we're gonna play through this game a little bit so you have an idea of what it is you can do. Now, some of the ingredients that you're going to want to be doing. First of all, let's look at the positioning within the section. The best ears need to be in the middle or for the core of the sound. The best ears. Now, that doesn't mean it's the loudest voice. That doesn't mean it's the most glorious sounding voice. But the person who always sings on pitch, who really has a pure, clean sound. You want to take your weaker singers and edge them out, okay? You want to have strong ears, again, I'm saying ears, at the ends of the rows on either end. Okay, so you've got a strong ear in the middle, you have strong ears on the outside, and within, you're starting to do a strong ear, less strong, less strong. Okay, yes, sir?
If you have three rivers, one strong ear, where do you put it, in the middle?
I'd put them in the middle. That's what I would do. Yeah, yeah.
If you have 2, you put them on the ends and put them in the middle.
Yep. Yeah. Surround sound works really well. Yes.
Sorry. I have one strong tenor, only tenor, and one of the basses, which is very good musician, bass, strong, and one strong soprano. Other than that, it's not countable, if I can say. How to position them? I have only 8 people in the choir.
Okay.
So how to position them to have this blend you are talking about?
How do you have other males singing?
I do extra basses, but unfortunately I cannot count on them.
Okay.
They like to sing.
Then you put your strong one in the middle, always.
That does not matter if they are among sopranos or...
Oh yeah, no, I keep...
Because under the circle, I decided to have a circle. circle.
Oh, good.
A semicircle,
Okay.
right? So,
There's many different versions that you can do. But I think personally, if I was in that, and how many tenors?
only one and good one.
God bless him. Okay. Okay, so I think what I would do is I would put your 3 basses dead center, right in front of you.
But at the same time, this tenor is a cantor, is a chanter, main cantor. And he's always on the edge.
Okay, that's all right.
With all those men together?
No.
No.
3 basses in the middle, right in front of you as a director. Okay? Bass, the strong bass in the middle,
Okay.
the 2 weaker ones to the sides of him.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Then your sopranos,
Okay. An alto, something.
altos, tenor. That's what I would do. What would you do, Nancy?
Probably the same, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the other option is to put your altos by your basses and put your sopranos by your tenor. But I still would keep those basses right in the center.
Okay.
I would definitely do that because you know, you have to have that pyramid effect, you know, bigger on the bottom, less on the top, right? Now, you only have 3 basses against however many sopranos. We're using her situation.
But one is only good.
Only one good one. God bless you. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's, you know, this is reality, right? This is reality. Okay. So, but you want to, you know, if you have your basses holding down the fort, if you will, they're the bottom of the pitch most of the time. They are the solid holder of the key, right? So you want to have lots of bass. And if you have those basses in control, the rest will build beautifully on top of it. And, you know, soprano doesn't have to be big, right? It can be the pyramid, the top of the pyramid. It can be light and beautiful with that bass holding it all nicely together. So, you know, and realize, this is my opinion, right? This is my opinion. But, and then you go and you'll hear lots of different people. I would try it. What do you have to lose? You know? Lots of different things. Okay, here are the things that we are looking for our ingredients, if you will. Pitch, key, number 1, right? Pitch. Vibrato. You got to watch out for the vibrato. If you've got people that are, again, you know, the older voices that are not supporting well anymore and are losing that fine line and are starting to really do a lot of vacillating, you got to be careful because you want to blend them with somebody who does not have as much vibrato to even it out. Okay? Tone color. Bright as opposed to dark. You know, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, I'm gonna show you in a minute how that makes a difference. Okay? Coming from different directions. Okay. Physical height. Now, you may not think that makes a whole lot of difference, but
Standing on the top riser as a tenor,
uh-huh.
I have to be very careful because I shoot across the top of the whole congregation.
Yep.
And I can hear me right in the front, so I got to play the solo.
Exactly. So would you two guys just stand up for a second? Yeah, just a bit. Okay, now you put these 2 guys together. Now you may not have any choice, right? I mean, if there's only 2 or 3 guys, but if you can find somebody a little bit closer to Tim's height, the chances are that the blend is going to be a little bit better because the sound's not going to be coming from crazy directions. Thank you.
Or I stand down with the sopranos.
Or you step down a step, and yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways to fix it, but it's real. Let's see. The size of the sound. A really big voice in comparison to a really small voice. You know, you don't want to put all your big voices together. You know, the others will just go home eventually, right? You want to blend. You want to be able to put your smaller voices with your bigger voices. It'll do 2 things. It'll take your smaller voices and give them confidence to sing more. It will, hopefully, you may have to just talk about this, take your bigger voices and say, make sure that you can hear the person beside you. Oh. then they have a blend. You know, if you can't hear the person singing beside you, you're a soloist. You're no longer in the choir, right? You've got to be able to hear the voices around you. And so many people go, oh, well, I never thought of that. You know, they're all up there to do a job, right? And they forget that we have to work as a unit, as a tight unit. So that's something to really work about. And one of the things here, I said number 6, rhythm, and I know that seems odd, but your larger voices will tend, unless they're well trained, will tend to drag the tempos. And if you just think about animals for a second, the larger the animal, the more lumbersome they are. They've got bigger muscle groups. It takes more time for them to move than the mouse that goes, and they take off. And it's the same thing with a large, big voice as opposed to a smaller voice. Their chords are thicker. They've got more sound to move. They've got to really work mentally as much as physically to keep rhythm the same as a lighter voice. And it's just physics, right? It's just so anyway. So I would like to just play with this a little bit with you right now. Instead of you sitting here writing notes and listening to me mouth off, I would like to just do some of this with you. And I'm going to ask you, regardless if you're sopranos or altos, and guys, you would just be going around in circles for a while. So I'm just going to have you sit there, seeing that there's only 2 of you, and we're going to use the women to do some of this. Now, how many of you ladies are sopranos? Raise your hands. Okay.
Depends how many people are there.
Okay, let me rephrase that. When you're not directing or you have a choice, who is the soprano in the room? Thank you. 1, 2, 3. So can I assume that the rest of you are altos? Alto, alto, alto? No. Then let's use the altos first, okay? Ladies, would you do me a favor and come up and stand up here? Okay? This is a safe environment, remember, we're okay. All right? This is...
Would you have me wait since there's less sopranos?
Sure.
This is only going to grow fast.
All right. All right, so, a nice looking bunch of ladies. All right. Do you all know the song, My Country 'Tis of Thee? I look at you. Let's fake it, okay? All right, we're gonna teach it to you.
It's not soprano. Maybe we'll wait and then watch. Maybe Parker should sit.
Sit and watch the process.
Exactly.
Why don't you come up? Why don't you, there we go. Watch the process, write down the words. Okay, we're gonna do, hold on. I am choosing to do this with the altos on a D, okay? Just because it's kind of middle range, middle voice, and I want to hear the fullness of their voices. All together, ladies, and my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. You've heard that before, right? Yes. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. All together, let's sing it together, and my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Okay, now, whether you're able to pull something like what I'm doing off with your own choirs or not, takes a little bit of trust, okay? And this would be a time, this is not 5 minutes before choir. This is a Saturday where you're gonna have, you know, a party and, you know, pizza and have a little fun with them. You know, invite somebody in to do a workshop with them. Play around with them. Get them to have a good time, because this has to feel like a game, otherwise they get scared. Okay? All right, so sing it again, and then I'm going to ask each of you to sing it. And my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Sing it for me, please.
My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Beautiful.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Good job.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. Give them a hand, will you please? Thank you. Okay, now, what I'm doing right now, my process, is I am listening to each voice and making a mental picture in my head of what they sound like to me. And again, this is me, right? This is my choice, all right? So I'm listening to all of these voices, and I'm taking note of pitch, volume, height, quality of sound, weight, all of those things that we talked about. Clarity of pitch. And I'm going to then try to decide what is the best order to put these ladies in to make it sound like one voice. Now this is an awful room for this because there's so much bounce in here, right? So we're going to try to get past that. Would you all sing it for me one more time? So I want them to listen to what you sound like as a group in this order. Okay, together. And
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
very nice. Okay, got that sound in your ears? I would like you to come and stand in the center. If you two girls would scoot down that way, please. And I would like you to stand right here. Okay, you remember what it sounded like a second ago, right? Let's see what we have now. And
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
now that was a better blend than we had to start with. Can I please trade you two ladies out? Switch places. Hold still. Okay, ready? And
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
that's changed again. Nancy, will you be in the middle? And, sorry. Catherine, thank you. Be over there. Okay, together.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Did you like it better or less?
It wasn't, I don't know if they just sang a little bit off each other's beat, but, or if it was actually that, you were, I could hear you very much.
It-
But then I could also hear Leah and Nancy, I don't know if it's just because they're closer to me or not.
Okay, I think it was a considerably different sound, and I didn't like it as well as I had the first one, honestly, for me. I thought it was much more individualistic. You could pull the voices, you could hear the voices coming out. So we're going to try something else. Macrina, go in the center. Nancy, over here. Again.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Don't like that at all. How about you guys?
Didn't sound good
Okay, and thank you. I'm really glad that happened because that's something else that you need to talk about with your singers is how, because they'll know almost immediately if it was like, oh, because they can feel it just not doing this, and that was an immediate. I heard it immediately. The beats were just cracking into each other. Okay, I would like to try something else. Would you two switch, please? Okay, one more time, and.
My country, 'tis of the sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
That was pretty nice. I wasn't actually planning on that. Can you two switch places again? That was really nice. Okay, one more time, and.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
What would you do? Would you take it back to where it was?
Because now I heard that.
Yep, I agree. Switch back.
Which is very strange because we're still at the end. But
Yeah. Okay, again.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Maureen, I'm making a phone call to you right now. Pick up the phone. Talk to me. Thanks. Would you two switch places, please? Again? And.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
I think I like this the best. This would be my preference. Do you know what I just did with her? Why did I say answer the phone? It's not necessarily right-handed, it's the stronger ear. When you answer the phone, you tend, even right-handed or left-handed, you take your phone to the ear that you actually hears best. It's your dominant ear. Okay, and that doesn't necessarily correlate with right and left hand. But if you tell people ahead of time, they think it through, and you have to play the what? Okay, game, and then they'll just do it. But it's really interesting, and it really does show you a strong and a weak ear really fast. It's kind of weird. This is a really good plan. Now tell me how you feel in the order that we've put you. Does it feel comfortable or does it feel funny? What do you think?
I think.
Didn't bother you in any way? I mean,
No, I don't think so.
no?
I have to.
No. I know.
I was just thinking, actually, one question I had as we did this, is a person, will people really sing in their natural voices? Because I'm thinking of, like, I call my louder, more confident people. If they know we're kind of listening for blend, where normally in a summer they just not paying attention, they sing really loudly and blare. But when they know we're going to be listening for blend, are they going to sing a little more quietly and try to tune up?
Hopefully.
Where other times in the service there's out in space.
But
And will we get a real picture of it?
yeah. But this is a really good question because this is exactly what you're trying to get them to do, right? Regardless of whether they're here or whether they're in church, this is what you're trying to get them to do. And so therefore, then your next job is, now remember, when I put you in this order and how beautifully you blended, let's make sure that we have that same blend again. You know, so it's a vehicle to get you to where you ultimately want to get to.
I did find that I was trying harder to be part of the complete picture as we were, switching and swapping and
Right.
whatnot.
And I agree with that.
Like I was making more of an effort as an individual to, make the blend happen. So what you're saying would definitely happen. I mean, it was happening to me.
Yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing, right?
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, because
it's
we're not
raising
looking for
awareness.
solos. We're looking for a beautiful core of sound to be one voice.
I don't know how others felt, but it felt really good. When you're singing in a well-positioned place, it felt like, sometimes when I stand, I feel like I can't even hear myself sing, but it's not because the blend is so good, it's because it's too distracting and I just can't hear. And when we were in one of the arrangements where it really sounded like one voice, it didn't feel like I didn't have a voice. It felt very
Supported?
supported. It's really amazing. It's an amazing difference.
Good. Question?
I was just going to say that it seems like something that empowers your choir members too. As they go through this process, they'll discover the things that Maureen just talked about, and they'll start to pick them out. If someone's not there when the rest of the choir members will notice that the sound is different, and they'll learn how to compensate for it. So they'll learn from going through the process.
Yeah.
Which is really neat.
And of course, this is like the perfect situation, right? I mean, that everyone's going to be there, you know how that goes. The Sunday that you have, the 3 people in the choir and everybody else is on vacation. you know. And then you have to think on your feet. As the director, you've got to go, okay, that's not working, you two switch. And your choir you've got to get your choir to trust you. That you know what the sound is coming at you and not what they're only hearing. Now, granted, you know, right away, when I put you in the middle, you went, whoa, you know, and it was like, that didn't work, you know, and that can happen, you know, and you've got to either trust them or make them trust you, you know, to say, please try it, you know, just see what'll happen, and sometimes they'll put their foot down, you know, but you have to be bigger. It's hard, especially with younger directors, you know. I started, like I said, when I was 18. Everybody in the choir was 60 and above. You know, it's really hard for a young director to go in and start telling everybody what to do. You have to earn their trust and be polite and try.
As we do this process, would you do kind of like you're doing now, where I'll just everyone else and say, oh, did that sound better to you? Like, I guess I'm not confident myself too. Like, is it okay to appeal to the rest of the choir? Oh, did that sound better to
you know what?
too? Like,
I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Just, I believe that you have the last word on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because it is your choice how your choir is going to sound and how they're going to blend when it all comes down to it. And then making the decision as to where everybody is going to stand within the choir as sections is a whole nother process, right? Once you've got your section fixed, then you've got to decide, okay, now are the altos going to go here? Are they going to go there? And, you know, there are some standards, certainly. You know, later in here I show you, you know, Weston Noble did it this way and so does it this way, whatever. You know, it has to be the best. You know, do you have a choir loft that's pie-shaped? Do you have, you know, are you standing down in the front of the church in an apse? You know, lots of things are dependent on how you're going to make them stand. But ultimately, it's about the sound that you want to get out of the whole situation, because you want it to be prayerful. You know, end of the story, we are the vehicle to help people pray. You know, so thank you for all your help, ladies.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Before you release us. So you were talking about, you know, put your strongest ear in the middle and next to strongest ears on the ends, but then however you had us to start, which I don't even remember anyway, you know, it's completely mixed up from that.
Well,
so
and
that's sort of maybe a starting point, and
exactly.
then you follow your ear.
Exactly. I mean, these are, what I've written down are definitely guidelines. We're in a situation where most people here are good singers, you know, in our situation in this here. So, you know, I could put you guys pretty much anywhere, and I feel like I'd be pretty safe, you know. So, but you know as well as I do in a church choir, you know, that you've got Sister Susie who's coming up to hang out with whoever else because she just likes to hang out with her, and she may not really be a singer, but she could be if she was placed in a really, really good place and she felt comfortable and secure. So, yeah, thank you. Good point. Thanks so much. Okay, sopranos, come on up. Come on. We're going to teach you the song. Yeah. I have no idea. Like 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, okay. And I started 10 minutes late. Let's see. Okay, small group, but that's okay. That's okay, because this is kind of a reality deal, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. No, let's just play with this. Let's show you how it would happen with just, you know, a few voices. We're going to take the pitch up a bit so it's not middle of the road for soprano land. I would probably do it on F or G for the soprano section, just to get it up a little bit higher. No. Ooh, my country, 'tis of thee. Here we go. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
My country, 'tis
Sweet land, sweet
land of liberty, of
thee I sing. Of thee I sing. Good.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
Together.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
Two switch places, please. And
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
two switch places. And we only have so many options here with 3 people, right? No, you're fine. You're fine. Here we go.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
Switch, please.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
You two switch places. Last time.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
Switch. The other one in? This one? That felt the best. Switch this one more time. We're messing around. Okay. I think Bonnie has to be in the middle. I think that absolutely. Now, yeah, just come in, listen to each other. Here we go.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
Okay, keep that in mind quickly. Switch last end. Okay, turn in. And.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing.
This would be my choice. This is the choice that I would make. Personal. It's a personal opinion, remember? Yeah? But it feels better this way? Okay. So we'll try it. Ladies, will you answer the phone for me, please?
No. Well, you just explained all this.
I know. I was just trying to, I said I wasn't sure if it would work.
I know both actually.
Okay.
Because I'm a pianist.
Because you're a pianist. I love it. Okay. Very good. Give him a hand, will you? Yes.
Assume that you walk into church and you have 3 sopranos, 5 altos, a bass, and a tenor. How would you set us up?
With the assumption that I get to put you in a semicircle.
Yes.
Okay? I would put the tenor and the bass in the center. I would put the sopranos on this side, on my left, and I would put the altos on my right. That's what I would do. The option of having the tenor and the bass kind of depends. Okay? Bass and alto parts are very, very similar, right? They tend to have a lot of the same notes. Depending on how strong your bass is, if you think that they maybe are a little weak, you might want to put them beside the altos because they'll be able to match a lot of those same pitches. Tenor and soprano tend to do a lot of the same things. In which case you do soprano, tenor, bass, alto. Now, if you have a strong bass, I would flip them for a better blend. Yes?
If you have very weak sopranos, because tenor results in dissonance with the sopranos, would you put the bass by the sopranos?
That's my first preference. I prefer that. But for safety's sake, sometimes you really need to go the other direction. So you could try it a couple of different ways. Back into my thing, this session is almost over. I just want to really quickly go through this. Over in the seating of the choir, the top A and B there, that's the procedure that I just put you through. Okay? So it's all written out here for you if you forget how to do it. So trying to find all of those things, looking for quick fixes down at the bottom, things that we talked about, kind of stronger, weaker, bigger, smaller, all of those things. On the last page, I gave you just some typical major choir director, Paul Christensen, Concordia University. These are the ways that these folks have done it. And, you know, we don't have the luxury of having, you know, 25, 30, 50 people in a choir, generally. Sometimes we do, I guess. But it all depends. In my high school choir, I tend, in my top group, I put my men in the back, and I put my women in the front. And I like that blend, because the men generally have bigger voices than the women do, right? And I will put my tenors behind my sopranos and my basses behind my altos. And sometimes I'll mix everybody up, but for the most part, that's how I rehearse. And they can match off of each other, I think, better. In my concert choir, which is a group of about 100, I will do all the sopranos, like in 4 rows this way, and then I do all of the basses, and then all of the tenors, and then all of the altos. And for a huge group, it works. I like that blend. I think that works really well.
Every time you put the altos here and the sopranos over there, why?
I guess maybe probably because I always tend to have less men. And if I can concentrate the male sound in the middle, I feel like we have a better blend just in general.
Alto's always here.
That's my choice. That's how, but that's my directing style too. Some people do different. Almost always, it seems like the sopranos are on the director's left. Yes.
Figured out, did you try, like, as a church choir, different services? Like one service you'd have one formation, another service another formation, or does that mess people up too much? Or do you stick that just to practice?
For actual services?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, we've always been the same formation for as long as I.
Well, I have to tell you, I did a complete switch around on my choir, and I did it for about 2 months. It just didn't work. I mean, they fought me the whole way, and not physically, musically. We could not, and I did everything I could come up with. And in our particular church, it was only 3 years old, our new building. And I think it had a lot to do with the echo chamber that we're in, because it's super echoey where we are. And I just had to go back to males in the back and females in the front. Because I kept trying to blend them, and I was doing all kinds of things. It was just a mess. Finally just gave it up, went back to what they were comfortable with, because part of it is comfort for the singers as well, right? Even though I'm choosing where they stand within the section, it just worked better to have the men in the back and the females in the front, in my case. But I do pull all my men and keep them in the center of that back section. So, any questions? Yes?
In a church that's not used to having bishops show up a lot.
Okay.
You know, some churches, like Chris Farr, you know.
Yeah, every day, yeah.
But when the bishop shows up, all kinds of people kind of come out of the woodwork too. Choir members you haven't seen in years sometimes. They expect to sing. People from other churches come and volunteer to help with the choir. You know, do you put your regulars in the center of each section, or do you just kind of scatter them throughout?
Nope. I will try to keep 2 of my people together at all times so that there's safety. There's safety nets. I'll try to keep 2 of my people and a guest. 2 of my people and a guest. And I also do that with, I am a big proponent of having young people sing in the choir. Some people don't let them all come in until they're 16, 17. Mine, from about 10 up, I start putting them in 8, some as young as 8 actually, especially if they read music, and I make sure that they match pitch, that they at least have a basic understanding of what a note value is and can follow their own line. But I never let the kids sing together by themselves. I always put them in between the adults, because we're trying to, they are the guests in an adult choir, and that's kind of how I envision it. We're trying to get them into that sound, because you put them all together in a children's sound, you have a very different sound. It's a kid's sound, and it's fabulous, it's beautiful. But if they're going to be part of the adult choir, then I'm trying to indoctrinate them, if you will, into more of an adult sound. And you'd be surprised. You can't hear kids sing in my choir. You can't like actually hear. They all sing, and it's a beautiful sound. It's a really good sound. It's vibrant because of the young voices. Question?
I have a related question to Tim's question. There are those other Sundays where, you know, normally you have 16 people in your choir, and on this Sunday you have 5. And they all want to stand in their normal spot, right? And so you've got an alto way over here, and the soprano way over here, and a bass way back here in the back, and then the lone tenor.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Bring them all down, make them in a semicircle right in the front. If they want to bring their book, let them bring their book. But semicircle right in front of you. You know, absolutely. Oh yeah, because I know they do that. It's like, what are you thinking? Come on. You know, let's work together here. I love it.
That happens sometimes at Vespers. Sometimes, because we have a lot of women who work Saturday, and I'll be the only woman, and there'll be like 3 men in the back. I feel like Gladys Knight.
Get over here. I know. Yes?
Here's another question. When do you guys people to stand down? It's one of the churches, I won't name names, but we've got the opposite problem from every church choir in Christendom, which is we'll have Vespers and we'll have 9 men and 2 women.
Okay.
And so you start listening to the sound, especially if the choir is singing antiphonally. Sound of this great big bells. Great big bells. You know, I think people get seasick after a couple of those together or something. When do you start saying to guys, just don't be congregation tonight? Or do you ever?
No.
Or just don't?
Yes. That's when you have to start doing it's time for you to listen and blend. You know, quiet. And what you'll find when you start doing that enough, they thin the herd by themselves. I'm sitting down. You know, they'll start. Done. Yeah, I know. I mean, the herd just thins. It's surprising, but it makes them be. You know, I mean, it's not about you as a singer individually. It's about what the words are and what we're trying to get out to the congregation. All right, thank you so much. Thanks.